Welcome, everybody, to the second hour of Mind Shifters Radio. And today is Thursday, December 14th, 2023. And our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And press 1, and that puts you into queue to talk to us. And we would love to hear your comments and questions because that makes this your show. And I hope somebody can hear me because my switchboard just went totally blank. Oh, I think it's back. All right. I had a startle there for a second, and I thought, oh no, why'd the show disappear? Totally blacked out, like there were no callers, no chat room, or anything. Thank you, Susan. She texted me and said, I can hear you. It was like everything disappeared in front of me. All right. Well, Michael hasn't dialed in yet. We'll give him just another moment. And I think he's expecting a caller to call in with a question. A young lady who's been doing this work for a long time. And she said she had started doing the worksheets again. And she had some questions. So I'll keep an eye out for her phone number to pop up on the switchboard. And we're glad that you all are with us. And I was just double-checking, make sure I had her number so I would recognize it. So Michael is with us now. She's not with us yet, Michael, so I'll keep an eye out for her. Welcome to the show. Hello, Michael.
Thank you, dear heart, and welcome, everybody. Delighted that you're here, and looking forward to seeing what unfolds today. We're working on putting our ever-expanding Mind Shifter list together for those who are in the yearly Mind Shifters Discipline Breathing Club, and that will happen this Saturday and Sunday if you're inclined to join us. Beyond that, we had announced that we were going to step into working with the Cavour's manuscript through the Enlightenment book that we publish. And we made the announcement yesterday. And we're going to make one slight adjustment in the offer that we made where we're going to be shipping the book for free. And when we checked out, PayPal takes a chunk on top of whatever when people purchase something. So what we're going to do is the book's $25. We're going to pay the shipping, and we're going to ask you to pay $1 worth of shipping or $1 worth of something, and that takes care of what PayPal takes care of. So if you decide you want to do that, you could order the book, and if you just put in the donation notes the word enlightenment, so we'll know that you want us to send you the book. And then your name and address, so we'll know who and where to send it. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've been spending a little more time with the Enlightenment book. I haven't really opened it in a while, so looking forward to seeing what unfolds as we step into that study. What kind of new and exciting things come to view. Levels and levels and levels of perception to be worked with. Beyond that, if you have a thought or a question for us, our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And if you dial that number, you'll be listening to the show directly. And if you have a question, all you do is push 1. And that raised a hand in the control panel. Excuse me if I'm distracted. I'm just sending someone a note who said they wanted to join us for the show, but I wasn't sure whether or not they had the number, so I was just texting that to them so they know how to get into the show. So 563-999-3581, push 1, and we're having a conversation. So what's most exciting on your mind? As I listened to the last few minutes of the conversation, Susan, with yourself and Dr. Tim. Good conversation. And what was clicking, we were working on one of the sections of the ever-expanding mind shifters list is living without perception. And what clicked in my brain as the conversation went on about, judge not lest you be judged, was, and of course, a lot of people will try to figure out what does judgment mean? How do I know if I'm even judging? Well, actually, there's a shortcut to that one. Perceive not. Let yourself be out of your mind and live in the mind of love in you that you were designed for. The ancient teachings called that the mind of Christ. That there is a mind of love that is available to you, and when you live in that mind, you will be living in and have direct input and feedback from the actual world, from actuality. As long as you're living in perception, you're living in carbon-based memory, the replicate mind, and everything that you'll see will be some sort of, everything that you think you'll see, because the pictures that you see, let me do this differently. The visual images that you get are images painted on the inside of your eyeballs by your mind converting content of carbon-based memory into pictures. You're not looking at what's going on out there. You've never seen anything with your eyes. You never will see anything with your eyes. Eyes can't see. The brain sees. Eyes don't. Eyes are antennas, frequency devices that capture light. And the information that's carried by that light is transferred to the brain. The brain does all the seeing. The brain generates the world you see, perception. And so it just occurred to me as I was listening to that conversation, thank you, Dr. Tim and Susan, for that. It occurred to me that we can end the struggle, conversation, discussion, concern about judgment by just recognizing that perception's not where you want to live. And when you habitually collapse that world of perception, then you get to move to a place of corrected perception, because the unconscious dynamics that play out from the replicate mind are healed through that process of forgiveness. Then you have a space where the actual energies of the actual world become available to you. I was working with someone this morning, and the bottom line was the statement that's where the Creator says, be still and know. Let perception go. Perception is not stillness. Perception is energy moving in you. And you can't ever know from perception. You just can't do it. You can get yourself some instructions for how to get rid of the thing itself, but there's no knowledge there. Lots of information, but all the information that's there is from the past. It replicates the past, and that becomes the thing that cuts us off from the ability to actually receive the information from actuality that will always guide us to correct action. So appreciate that conversation. Much appreciation. And Ms. Jeannie, do we have anything happening in the phone queue, anything in the chat room, any questions from the app? Anything exciting for you to introduce to our conversation?
No, don't have anything else, and there's no hands up. Harry's not with us yet. Nobody's in the chat room saying anything. Oh, a hand just went up, but I believe that it is Joanna. Welcome. Oh, I'm not sure. Her hand went up and then it went down. Joanna, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Well,
hi.
Hey there, young lady. We haven't heard your voice in a long time. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I wanted to share with you that I had sent Peter in Sweden a text that I needed his help because I don't do anything I say I'm going to do Now, that's an overstatement, but that's how it feels. And will was one of the traits that I was working on in our class. So it's not surprising that that would be an issue that comes up for me of not doing what I say I'm going to do.
That's the will faculty.
Yes. So anyway, he called me this morning and said, well, you said you were going to do 2 worksheets, and you said you didn't do it, but the good news is I did cross it off for that day as a goal. So I did learn something, Michael.
What was that?
For my goals. So
right, get rid of the stress.
Right. So anyway, the conversation with Peter was delightful, as you can imagine. And I committed to doing 1 worksheet as soon as we hung up. And he said, and not after you organize the spices. And so
wise guy.
Yeah, I did it, and it was such a wonderful reminder of the many things I learned in those courses, and then, you know, synchronicity being what it is used now, and it's so easy to forget that what I think I'm seeing is what I'm seeing. And, you know, the reminder that the brain can only process so much data, and it's a speck of what I'm exposed to. So it's a best guess of what's really happening out there. And,
that's it, exactly.
So it was just really good to hear you restate that, and it felt wonderful. Just doing just that 1 worksheet felt really good and encouraging to do more.
Yeah, you know, with 50 years under my belt with this work, and still boggles my mind that 2,000 years ago, this man Yeshua knew exactly how to collapse false perception, collapse carbon-based memory with all its stories, and give us an opportunity to enter into the world that with perception we have voided, and get back to that world which is where we're designed to live. It's just like, it's mind-boggling.
Well, Peter reiterated that too. And if I'm not wrong, didn't Peter, for years, his career was bringing wisdom teachers to Sweden to conduct classes and so forth. And he said again this morning, he said, this is the most powerful tool I have ever run across.
Yeah, there's nothing that I know of in the world that compares with it. And the biggest challenge in using it that I see is that people think they know something that carbon-based memory is telling them it's a total fantasy, and have no idea that their knowledge is fantasy.
Right.
And that it can be collapsed, and when we collapse it, it will be replaced with something so much bigger each time. And as far as I can tell, it just keeps expanding. There doesn't seem to be an end to it.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that new insight.
Right. Well, my mind has been surfacing, painting pictures of me that regarding my younger son, that all of a sudden one day, one of my other siblings says, well, you and David are so much alike, which caused me to, ponder that. And I realized that the question in the worksheet about giving up being right, oh my God, that is such a powerful realization that I'm stuck in wanting to be right. And the other part of that question is I give up the right to be right and to make up another story with those invalid.
Right.
Yeah, it's just so insidious.
Yeah, the mind can make up 1,000 variations on the theme, and it's all just the same stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you happen to be on the show back, it's probably getting close to a year ago now, but Aria, she was about 4 at the time, and she wanted to watch an anatomy video, kids' anatomy video. So I put it on, and it had this cartoon character that's going to teach about the body. And you see the organs all, it's kind of like an outline caricature, and all the organs in the body, and the organs of the body fall out on the screen, fall out onto the floor, and then in turn each part sings and explains to the child what that part of the body's about. And when the eyes came up, the eyes sing a little song that go, I am your eyes, I am your eyes, I see the world around you. Arya looks at me and she says, Papa, they don't understand, do they? We see with our brain, not with our eyes. And that was not something I had ever said to that girl. We see with our brain.
Right.
And it's just so true.
Yeah. So can you still keep her during the week?
Oh, yes, we've got her. We'll have her tomorrow. Again, we have her usually at least 2 days a week. And we're getting more overnight and over the weekend type opportunities with her, so that's pretty sweet. She's 5 now,
yeah.
and just such a delight, such fun.
The last, let me share 2 things that she has done. I said I really want us to help her stay in the intuitive knowing that she's in. But the other day, a couple weeks ago, she told me about a dream that she had about unicorns. And I said, well, that was a sweet dream. She said, I control my dreams. She said, I tell my mind when I go to sleep what I'm going to dream about. And I do. And so they're always sweet dreams. Yeah, she said, so they're always sweet dreams. Well, then the other day she was talking about another child in her classroom that she really wants to be friends with her, but this other girl is a little bossy and angry and all this. So I had a conversation with her that, when other children are angry, there's usually something else going on. They're either afraid or they're, something, and they're covering it up with their anger. I said, you don't have to take her anger. I said, but be the space for her. And, if, she still is angry or whatever, you can tell her, say, I'm here for you when you decide you want to, be nice or be friends or whatever, but, I'm not going to sit here and take your anger. I said, you can do that. And she goes, oh, well, I can read minds, Nene. She said, and I know what she's thinking, and so I can usually fix it. And yes, I said, I don't want her to think that she can fix everybody's problems, but it's awesome that she can hold the space for them. She can tell what's really going on for them. And I said, you are really a healer. And she goes, it seems like every time somebody gets hurt or feels bad, I'm always there to take care of them.
Wow.
She's
amazing. There's no way
she really is.
What she picked up from being there when you're doing the radio program.
Oh, yeah.
But less being steeped in it by just being with you.
Yeah.
Well, you remember,
For
and
sure.
you were on the show way back in the early days, or some of the earlier days. You know, the first year and a half, showtime was her nap time, and she always went to sleep on my shoulder listening to the radio show for the first
Wow.
year and a half, at least 2-3 days a week. So
Yeah.
she's been building brain cells from the beginning, and more it's showing. It's just it's really
Right.
pretty sweet, pretty awesome.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
she wanted me to help. She wanted me to help one of her dolls to like cancel goals and get rid of her sadness. So,
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. It's just the tip of the iceberg of what a human being can be if we aren't conditioned as much by the world.
Exactly. So what else is exciting in your world?
Energy work and breathing work with my older sister. She has a rash from the top of her head down to her feet. It's not on her hands or feet, and it's miserable. And her doctors haven't really, did several tests and finally said it's hives. And they don't know, what's causing the hives. And I said, well, stress. And she said, yeah, they said that, but I don't feel, any particular stress. And I said, you've created stress in your life since you had children, because she and her husband both worked 2 jobs, had 2 children. I mean, it's just controlled, so to speak. It never created crises, but it was there. And anyway, she said, yeah, especially the recently. And I said, well, I'm going to, pay attention to what I see on the internet, and if I see anything that seems worth sharing, I will. And I said, but I do know that if you don't get the toxins out of your body through the normal means, it can come out through your skin. And she said, yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to doing some breathing work and body energy work with her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You have the
Really
worksheets for the energy field, directions for the energy field work?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, good, cool. Well, we'll hold the space
Anyway.
for openings and healings. One of the other things you might suggest to her is, just go to the health food store or jump on Amazon and get a simple colon cleanse, because a lot of times when the colon gets blocked up, it reflexes to the skin. The skin's like the default takeover organ. And so some of that pressure can be alleviated just through a simple colon detox as well.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely do that. Well, it's so good to hear both of you.
Well, it's nice to hear your voice. It's been a while.
Yeah. I think about my time at Heartland with such joy. It was just a phenomenal experience.
Awesome. Well, delighted that you've been there to play with us, and it looks like we're probably going to do a season next summer, and of course we'll keep everybody posted if that comes together or as it comes together.
Great, wonderful.
It's been 2019 since our last season when COVID struck, and just haven't done it since.
Right. Well, you didn't quit though, and that served a lot of people.
Yeah, we just about did a season this past summer, and it just got to be where it was more work than I was ready to do. getting the buildings open and doing all that goes with that.
Right. We'll have to get Peter to come back. He was the one that was willing and able to get on the roof.
Yeah, it was sweet to have him there after so many years. Cool. Well, anything else on your mind for today?
No, just gratitude. Thank you, and thank you so much.
All right. Appreciation, extending love in your direction. Take care. Well, Miss Jeannie, do we have anybody else in the phone queue or anything happening in the chat room?
No, Tippy is with us all the way from Thailand, so welcome, young
Oh,
lady.
good. Yeah, she had texted me and said she was likely going to be there today. Extending love in the direction of your brother, Tipia, and holding the space for his healing. It sounds like maybe some things are opening up, moving in the right direction.
Had a hand go up. I believe it is Mr. Terry, 336. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, folks.
Well, hey there, Dr. Bowling. How are you?
Marvelous, marvelous. It's just a gorgeous day. Your last conversation prompted a couple of questions. One,
okay.
I know I have the direction for the energy field work in one of my booklets, but do you actually post that on your website too?
No.
No,
it's
okay.
something
I didn't
that
think so.
It's like the still point breathing process. It's something that takes personal instruction, and I wouldn't put it up for somebody to just pick up and think they can do it without some instruction.
Great. So that's probably one of those items that, well, for one, I found that to be very beneficial in the fact that for a couple of different reasons. One is that it was another demonstration that we can help each other, and we don't have to have years and years of training and schooling and paying lots of, expensive tuitions and stuff.
That's right.
Through a process, you took us through that process a few times. You were there and available should there be any questions, but it was really a relatively easy process to learn and pick up. And I still remember some of the moves and have the muscle memory of that. So I'm gonna dig through my binders. I've got 3 big YN binders, and everything's in there somewhere. It's just a matter of organizing. Actually, I have 4 YN binders, and I'll see if I can't come across those. It's always pretty amazing and a joyful trip down memory lane too, because there's worksheets and there's notes I would make during the classes and little things about the kids they were there. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. So I'll see if I can't pull that back out. And then have you updated them any, you think? Because that copy I had is probably 10, 12 years old. Are they pretty much still the same?
Yeah, that the last edit of those is probably about 15 years ago. And what's in that, those different steps to go through the whole structure, that is a when I first discovered still point, I'm practicing medicine and I'm working with people, but when I first discovered the still point and realized what it was, my pursuit then became, what do I know of, what have I experienced over the years that helps people to move into still point? And that's what that whole energy field thing is. I mean, there's probably, there's 20 years of study, probably 50 different classes to assemble that I did, that I took. You know, like in some cases, you know, I think like some of the steps are from, let's say, polarity therapy. I mean, I spent 2 years studying polarity therapy. And so here are the steps that I've observed put people into still point. And each piece of the energy field work is something that through experience, and, you know, whether it was when I was studying chiropractic or whatever it was what helps people get into that space where they go into that high-speed processing place. And so that synthesis is a good 20 years of work. Probably, I don't know, maybe $8,000 or $10,000 worth of classes to put those specific pieces together from all the different stuff that I'd done over the years. So yes,
and along
put
those
your hands
lines,
on people.
Yeah. Yep. And then I put a little note out to some of the folks that are in these different little agreement threads that I maintain and we share and for each other. And so this morning, I've been working with this concept that's in the 12-step programs, and it's really brought forth consistently and in a pretty strong way as far as, hey, this is very important. And it's a real simple little statement that the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. There's no equal that's been found in that little vernacular, the 12-step world, and just one helping, working with another.
Right.
So I took that and expanded it a little bit and said the therapeutic value of one human holding a loving space with another is without parallel.
Monumental.
I further said that is the only remedy I have found to be truly effective in regards to all pain, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional. When we support each other, the pain lessens. And I did put a little piece that said, Dr. Ryce, Dr. Jimlin, 12 steps. These are my methods of dealing with life, and they have at the core one person sitting with, helping another. And then know that you're not alone. You're never alone. There's always someone that's willing to, if you look, there's someone that's willing to help you because it's a reciprocal experience. And with the holding of the space in still point, phenomenal. Probably the first time in some people's lives that they will actually have someone just sit and listen to them for, the whole hour, listen to them breathe, just be in that space with them. It's beautiful. And then with Dr. Jenlin's work, same thing. Two people, one's holding space while the other does a little focusing, which is very similar. They're similar dynamics, and they're an active, active listening kind of action. So I wanted to put that out there to you, how beautiful that is. And then the steel point piece to it, the little exercises, I got to dust that back off and look at that. Because now we're doing the breathing on the weekends here on the monthly groups. So that encourages me to get a partner that will participate so that we can actually do a little bit of this work, that involves the methods that you taught, that you've taught me. that's something that's been forming with me here for a while. And that was very connected to that dialogue with the previous lady. And then one other thing I want to put out there before I turn it back over to you and get some feedback is that now, I've done the master cleanse several times. I find that it takes a real effort for me to get my mind in the right space to persevere, but that to get psychologically ready for it takes some effort.
Right.
And then I've done the one that was I think it was created by some fellow over in France, and they use a clay that I picked up at a health food store. That was years ago. Yeah, it was something like that. It's been a long time since I thought about that. So I wanted to ask you, is there another method, or would you just talk about any of those methods? I feel like I could really benefit from doing, a colon cleanse, and I wanted to get your input and thoughts about what you think might be the most beneficial and effective for me right now. Yeah.
Well, I suggest that you jump on Amazon and search for a book called Tissue Cleansing Through Bowel Management. Tissue Cleansing Through Bowel Management.
From the last, okay. Yeah, you referred that to me before. Tissue Cleansing Through Bowel Management. Yeah.
Now, in that book, Jensen, the author, lays out 5, 6, 7 different types of cleanses, from a very simple one right up to a thing called the Kalima process. So, you can start with something simple or go midway, or, the Kalima process is like, it's just about a week full time where you're paying attention to your detox and your cleanse. And actually it was created by a gentleman named V.E. Irons. And the last time I was on a platform with V.E. Irons, we were presenting at a conference together. That's probably 25 years ago now. He got up on the stage, he was introduced, and then he had his wife bring over his brand new baby. He was 82 and held up and introduced his new baby to the audience. And he's the one who created the Kalima process. And
wait a minute, how old was his wife?
I don't know. I never really met her. She was there, but she wasn't 82. Let's say that.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
She was a young woman. I don't know exactly what, but probably, maybe mid to late 30s. But obviously, at 82, he was rocking it.
He was rocking it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he was vital. He was. Yeah. And actually, the man who, introduced me to that, Bernard Jensen, we had actually done a conference, 30 years ago in Delray Beach, Florida, in Deerfield Beach, Florida. We spoke at a center that was run by a psychologist, and we were both part of the same conference. And he was in his 80s. And he was out there promoting his book, and just, he was on the road and just as vital and spry, as clear in mind as you can imagine. So, detoxing works. It's an important step in the process. So that would be where I'd go. I'd start by, go back and review that tissue cleansing book, and there's a lot of just superior information in that book, really powerful stuff. And start water in the morning, stay away from the food for a while. Or one of the things that Jensen used to say is, you have to earn your breakfast. You don't get up and stuff your face with food. You earn your breakfast. You don't eat breakfast until you've worked. And that was one of the things that he used to push. And I know we actually found a good, solid, strong glass bottle that they sell a product that's intestinal flora drink, and it's 50 ounces, and that's my start of the day. I don't touch food until I've drank at least one of those.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I kind of remember that. It's that flora. There's one that Michelle used to get, and you had to buy it. It was refrigerated because it was a live thing,
right,
obviously, with the flora and all in it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So go for it. We'll hold the space. How are worksheets going?
I will. The worksheets are going good, consistent. You know. Daily,
I don't know if you were on the show or if you've heard from Dan.
Say that again.
I don't know whether you were on the show when I talked
the numbers were. We got a delay here, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to let you go. I was going to say the worksheet process is consistent, but the number fluctuates up and down. And I didn't get on the show. I didn't hear the show with Dan on it in that regard. So, but I do talk to him, 2 or 3 times a day. And he just did 30 this morning, I think he said. And he's got, or something, it was 30 this morning or 30 last night and 10 this morning. So go ahead and share with me what you were going to share now.
Oh, last week he just shared with the group on the show that he had just passed the 1,500 mark since he started doing worksheets again, which is pretty powerful. I mean, he's just moving through stuff like it's amazing. It's awesome.
It is, and the dialogues we've had in relation to what comes up in the mind when you take on a project like that, it has been really fun. We've had some really good conversations back and forth in relation to that process.
It always amazes me when people cancel their goal, what the mind just spontaneously and instantly goes to what we can touch into. It always amazes me, if we're really paying attention, what the subtle energies are that start to move when a goal is canceled and perception collapses. It's just monumental. And our little interaction a moment ago with our delay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm glad to hear that we're re-engaging the goal to have some activity at Heartland next summer.
Working in that direction. Could need a little help from my friends, but we're working on it.
Yes.
So our little interaction back and forth there a moment ago reminded me of a story about the woman who goes to the doctor, and the doctor tells her that she's pregnant. And he says, now, if you want your baby to be very polite, just rub your stomach 3 times a day, and that will help the baby to be very polite. And she's like, okay. And so 3 times a day she rubs her stomach. And along about 3 months, she goes in for a checkup, and the doctor detects 2 heartbeats. He says, now remember, if you want those babies to be polite, you just make sure you rub your stomach 3 times a day. So faithfully throughout the whole pregnancy, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, 12 months, she's still rubbing her stomach 3 times a day. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, she's still rubbing her stomach 3 times a day. 20, 40, 50, 70 years later, and finally the doctor says it's time for cesarean. And does the cesarean, and when he does the cesarean, here are these 2 little old men, one saying, oh no, after you. Oh no, after you.
They've been so polite. They've been arguing for 50 years, 60 years. Yeah.
Very polite. That's a joke that's always tickled my funny bone.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
Well, delighted that you're out there doing the work and passing it on and making it available. That's what it takes to get this to every mind, heart, and being on the planet. And we're definitely moving in that direction. So anything else on your mind for today, sir? Honored.
Not right at the moment.
All right. Appreciate you. Lots of love and blessings. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, bye-bye. All right, so we're down to about 12 or 13 minutes. If you're out there in listener land, our call-in number, 563-999-3581. If you call that number, you'll be listening to the show. And then, if you have a question, you push 1, and we'll be engaged in a conversation. So how can we support you? So, Ms. Jeannie, do we have anything happening in the chat room or anything?
Harry has not called in yet. Hippia says
No, I
in
just
the
saw
chat room,
she sent me a text saying that she had talked to Dr. Tim earlier, I guess.
Oh, okay. Hippia says her brother isn't talking, but that he smiles at her when she gives him food. Physically, he's much better than he was 2 weeks ago. And she said she read the blog about the health crisis, and she understands it, but and she thinks he's in the process of changing inside, but because he's not talking, she can't lead him to do a worksheet or talk about goals or anything like that. So like everybody was just talking the last few conversations, just being with him and holding the space for him when you're in his presence, and even when you're not, that has healing power in itself.
For sure. And Tippy, something else you can do, you can get one of the simple worksheets, the simpler ones, and walk through you doing the worksheet yourself. As opposed to trying to get him to communicate, just explain to him what you're doing. Take the simple form worksheet, I've got this going on and I have this emotion and these are my thoughts and this is my goal and I'm going to cancel my goal. And, that might help him to build the brain cells just by you modeling what it is to do the forgiveness process. And that may help to pull him out of his shell. And, there may be some worksheets for you to do on goals that you have for him. And as you are able to cancel those goals you have for him, you might see energetically a shift happen in him because of the space that you're able to hold. So there are a couple of ideas of things that you might do to move forward. So if you're out there in listener land, we've got about 10 minutes left. Push 1. What's on your mind? How can we support you?
Check my other email, and there are no questions from the app. So,
okay.
Come on, somebody,
cool.
Press 1. Direct us. How can we help?
Well, let's go back to this idea of, the whole focal point on living without perception. Again, that's one of the sections in our ever-expanding mind shifter list, one of the newer sections, is the ability to put away perception. And corollary with that is putting away memory. Of course, we live in a culture where memory is king, and yet when you realize, of course, memory, if I'm remembering something, it's something from the past, and few people realize that they actually have to build new proteins. Think, oh, I'm remembering that direct event. Well, actually, your brain has to build a new set of proteins to represent that event, and It's not the same event at all. It's a memory like, but oftentimes when we think we're remembering something directly, there are other energetic patterns that are interfering. And of course, again, everything to do with memory is from the past, and perception by definition is from the past. And there is recognizing, some people are like, well, how could you possibly live without that? Well, here's how you could live. There's a greater mind, a much greater mind than that mind. If you look in the ancient teachings, they talked about the mind of man. But then there's the mind of love, the mind of the Creator. And that's a mind that you can count on. Far more than you can your own memory bank. Far more than you can believing the constructs of your mind are accurately representing actuality. And as Joanna said, the mind is making its best guess. If you want to learn more about that, if that one leaves you with a question and you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm not so sure about that, jump on YouTube and put a search term in, Anil, A-N-I-L, Seth, S-E-T-H, TED Talk. Here's a guy who's a neuroscientist, explains the whole thing. Perception is simply the mind constructing its best guess based on, one, the circumstances that you're in, and two, the content resonated by those circumstances. And 100% of the time, there's always something you can trust far more than that. And that is by honoring the mind, the live mind of love in you, and trusting it to guide you. In the ancient teachings, they called that the mind of Christ. I remember Paul saying, and again, people tend to interpret words like Christ religiously. I'm not suggesting anything religious here. I'm saying that there is a mind in you that is different from your carbon-based memory. It is the live mind of love in you, and it's your birthright to live out of it. And it will always take you in the right direction, where perception, it's a mind that simply replicates the past over and over. And that's where the power, the healing power of forgiveness comes, is that when you understand that your perceptual constructs are driven by goals, and you cancel those goals. Remember, the word forgive in Aramaic is shabag or shabak. It's been translated as forgive, but it actually means to cancel. And when I cancel the driver, the goal that I hold that's causing my mind to use this data from the past to build the world that I think I see out there, but is really painted on the inside of my eyeballs, then that world collapses. And if we're willing to trust it, there is another mind in us that will take over, and it is not the mind of man. So that's the invitation, to consider, through forgiveness, collapsing the world of perception. And what tends to happen is the instant after you forgive and perception collapses, there is a space where one gets to taste directly the presence of love. Now, the mind at first might just take a fraction of a second for its resonance to kick in and want to take over, like literally a fraction of a second. But as you enter that practice on deeper and deeper and deeper levels, you become less and less reliant on the past and perception. And you recognize that, literally, the mind behind the whole universe is right there and available to you, and it's your birthright to use it, and you can trust it. It speaks differently. There's an interesting passage, and actually in a new book that I've been working on, we have the Yeshua having a conversation with a character in the book, much like the Why Is This Happening to Me Again book, where there's a character having a conversation with me, only in this case, it's a character having a conversation with Yeshua. And the passage in the scriptures that comes up is where it says that the Creator, it says in regard to the Creator, it says, with stammering lips and another tongue will I speak to you. And the character is kind of confused about that. It's like, it says to Yeshua, it's like, well, why would the Creator, Gus, why would the Creator speak with stammering lips and another tongue? And Yeshua offers a correction. It's like, no, that's not it. That's man's projection, because we've gone to a far and distant foreign land and taken on a foreign language, and the language we've taken on is a language of hostility and fear in the past. We're listening with stammering ears and a totally foreign set of brain cells compared to living in and as the world of love. So it isn't that the Creator, I mean, that's how it's presented. Of course, it's men writing that. That's how it's presented. See, the Creator is doing this, stammering lips and not tongue. But we're listening. We're trying to listen to love through brain cells based in a past of hostility and fear. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of years of those experiences in each one of our bloodlines. So we're the ones who are listening with crooked ears. And the power of doing your work is, as you clean out the hostility and fear-based content, actuality no longer needs to filter through that. Actuality will no longer be filtered by that. We'll get a direct taste. A time when we come into direct relationship with the actual presence of love that resides inside of us. Now, Greek mythology has pretended to be Yeshua's teaching, and, Greek mythologies put that power somewhere way out in space. But Yeshua reminds us, and this even comes through in the Greek, although it's mostly ignored, do you not know that you are a temple of the Creator? If somebody tells you that the kingdom is over there or over there or over there, believe them not, for it is here, it is now, it is within you. Now, there are a lot of people talking about, I know when I die I'm going to go to heaven. Why are you going to wait? You're supposed to be there now. And this isn't a mythical, religious journey. It's what you apply where you live to free yourself of perceptions from the past, to free yourself of carbon-based memory, or what was called the mind of man, and literally live in the mind of love that is already in you, because we've been brainwashed with so much hostility and fear, it seems that world is no longer available to us. But it is, and it's our birthright to live there. So joining you in doing that, holding the space for it. In the meantime, have the best year yet of your eternal life. It's an awesome gift to give the world.